Jeff Hathorn with the head coach of the Pitt Panthers, Jeff Capel. We're at the Campus View Club here at the Peterson Event Center. It's one of the cool areas that a lot of people don't get a chance to see, but this is a pretty awesome environment here.
No, it's big time. The renovations that were done, it makes a great game day experience, but it also is a great place to be able to bring recruits, to have dinners, stuff, team events. Just it's a really cool space, really cool area that they did an incredible job with.
Congratulations on the last 2 weeks. Back-to-back wins over top 25 teams. What's kind of the emotion reaction with your group?
Well, obviously we're proud, we're excited, but the thing we've tried to do all year is just stay in the moment. You know, we've tried to take each day and really focus and concentrate on that day, trying to get better. And, you know, when we beat Virginia the other night, it was great. We were proud, but we got back together today, and our focus immediately shifted to how do we get better today and how do we prepare for Clemson. What I have talked to our guys about is we live this. Like, we're the ones that are in it. We aren't a fan. We aren't we're not, like, we're in it. And so it's up to us. Like, we have to stay even keeled. We can't over exaggerate things. We can't think that we've arrived. Just like when we lost 3 in a row, I didn't think we were horrible. We just got to keep working and stay focused on trying to get better each day, having the right mindset, having the right attitude, and we've done a pretty good job of that.
Given some of the experience in your room, is that easier because of that?
I wouldn't say it's easier. It's always difficult. One of the toughest things to do, I think, is to handle success. Everyone always talks about, failure as a teacher, but success, I think, has ruined more people than failure. Because there's no blueprint of how to handle success. Each person is different. And so we've had a small bit. We've had a small bit here before, and we haven't handled it well. And so hopefully each of us, me, our staff, our players, can lean on our past experiences. Our older guys that are new, even our older guys that are here, we have unique experiences. Jamarius is going to be on the show. He has experiences that have been incredibly valuable from Wichita State and from Texas Tech, and also from his year last year here with us that we can lean on and learn from. Greg from Marquette, playing for 2 different coaches, 4 years with Wojo, and then 1 year with Shaka. Blake Henson from his experiences. We want to lean on those and use all of those to learn from and to help us in our moment right now to be at our best each day.
There were so many details that you guys did so well against Virginia the other night. One of them was turnovers, especially your 2 point guards, Jamarius and Nelly, combined for 1 turnover. I mean, Jamarius played 38 minutes with 1 turnover. Nelly had none.
Yeah.
How is it? How do you take care of the ball like that against a Virginia defense?
Yeah, well, we did a much better job in the second half. We had 8 in the first half. That's not good. We had 0 in the second half. I think it does help having those 2 guys that are older. They had experience. They've seen a lot of different basketball. They've seen a lot of different things. JB played against Virginia last year twice, so I think he could use that experience. For Nelly, it was his first time playing against them, but I think the experience of understanding what we're trying to do offensively, what we're looking for, understanding our offense, the different sets that we run, the spacing. I definitely think that helps. And just overall having some maturity out there, especially in that backcourt.
What does it tell you about your group? You struggled a little bit from 3 for the second straight game, but yet points in the paint. You're able to find ways to get points inside.
Yeah, well, even when we've shot the ball well from 3, we generated them mostly from penetration. So from touching the paint, whether it's off of a ball screen, a straight line drive, someone rolling, us hitting them and then, making the extra pass, we've done a pretty good job from there. For the most part, I like the 3-pointers in the past 2 games that we've generated. We just haven't made them. But where maybe in the past that would have made us put our head down, we've continued to find ways to generate points. We've been able to get mid-range. Obviously, JB against Carolina was murder. in the mid-range. He was able to get the spots, get all the way to the basket, play through contact. In the past game, in the last game, I should say, against Virginia, Nike Sabande did that. Nelly did that. We were able to generate points from rolling, whether it was Federico, whether it was Guillermo, Blake, getting to mid-range, and doing some things there. And so, again, hopefully what that means is that our offense has become a little bit more sophisticated. It's not just a three-point offense. We're able to generate points from the mid-range, getting all the way to the basket as well.
You made free throws, smart passes. You won the rebounding battle against that team. And I know that's something you've always emphasized, but it really seems, even without maybe a wide body post presence, without having John, especially the last few weeks, that rebounding has been there. And guys like Greg and other guys have stepped up.
Well, we have to gang rebound. Like, we understand who we are. And the last game that we lost, we got dominated on the glass. I think Vanderbilt had 18 offensive rebounds. They came into that game averaging 9. They had 18. And we did not do a good job there. I think that's one of the main reasons why we lost that game. And so we've made a concerted effort. It's interesting, Jeff, like, we don't really practice it that much. Like, in the past, we've had rebounding drills. We haven't done one this year because I'm afraid of us getting hurt. Because we're, for so long during the season, we were down bodies. We had guys hurt. Will hurt. Dior not being with us. John was hurt for 6 weeks. He wasn't there. And so for the most part, we've had like 9 scholarship guys, and we couldn't afford some other guys. Nelly, once we started practice, the first day of practice, Nelly got a concussion and was out the rest of the week. In preseason, Greg Elliott got a concussion and was out for a week and a half. So we haven't really done it, but what we've done is that we've tried to emphasize it every day when we watch film. And we may stop it when we're doing live action to talk about, hey, we didn't block out. We're not doing this. And I just think the guys understand it. I think they understand the importance of it. And so even against North Carolina, that's one of the things they do. They didn't dominate us there. It was close. And against, for the most part, we've done a pretty good job all season.
Jamarius is going to join us coming up next. But before we get to him, you mentioned, especially after the North Carolina game, the crowd. And I'll tell you from where I sat in the media section against Virginia, I mean, I'm watching people jumping up and down. They're hugging each other. Like, it hasn't been packed. Man, the people that have been here have been crazy.
We are so grateful for them. It's interesting. After the Virginia game, I got a text from a good friend of mine, and he talked about Blake Henson's interview after the game and how good it was, and you should listen to it. And so I actually got the video this morning. And I listened to it this morning. I actually got it last night. I listened to it last night. I showed it to our staff this morning. But the last part of it, he talked about the crowd. And he talked about how grateful he was, how appreciative he was, and how much it means to us. And hopefully it means a lot to them because we feel it. And the people that have been there, for these past 2 games, because we're not in school, so our students aren't here, but the zoo has been incredible. And then the people that have been here, that have been supportive, I noticed it too. I noticed the emotion and things like that, and hopefully that's something that continues for these guys.
All right, coming up, Jamarius is going to join us. A reminder, Saturday at 4, 4-0 Panthers against 4-0 Clemson. Right here, you can find tickets at PittsburghPanthers.com. But as we continue, Jamarius Burton joins us here on the Jeff Capel Show on the Pitt Panthers Radio Network. ACC Player of the Week, Jamarius Burton joining us, coming off 2 wins over Virginia and North Carolina. We were just talking with your head coach about the crowd. How much does that impact you, especially, both those games, you guys were down double digits. That crowd never seemed to leave you. How much of a big deal is that for you guys?
Yeah, the crowd has been tremendous over the past couple of games. Big shout out to the Oakland Zoo for showing up and showing out for us. We definitely, have been able to benefit from that, being able to feed off the crowd. And, it's definitely given us a big amount of energy, especially, when we go down, having that crowd, behind us to help, rally us back has been tremendous.
You've rallied back in a few games this year. What is it about this team that allows that to happen?
Yeah, I would just say it's a resilient group. You got a lot of guys that's on their last year of eligibility. So, we just don't want to take any moments for granted. We're just out there just trying to fight to the very end.
You're out there. Basically, there's 2 point guards out there to start the game with you and Nelly. It could be tough because you guys are used to having the ball and controlling the ball. How is it you guys share it so well?
Yeah, I would just say the dynamic has been tremendous. And for us, it's just whoever has the ball first, just take it and go. And, Coach, he does a great job of putting us in positions, both of us, to benefit. So we're just feeding off one each other and, having a good time out there.
Jamarius Burton is joining us here on the Jeff Capel Show. The North Carolina game. So Pat Bostic and I, Pat, we're at the Sun Bowl, and we're watching some of the game, and we're like, has JB missed a shot? Like, it was crazy. 14 of 17, 31 points. How would you describe what that feeling was like offensively for you?
Yeah, it was a great feeling. For me, I was just out there trying to make reads, and I was able to just get to my spots that game. Our team, we do a great job of whoever has the hot hand, we just continue to go to that guy. So, fortunate enough it was me. So I was just able to just take advantage.
How big of an advantage is that for a team to have different guys you can go to, because some nights somebody's hot or they're leaving guys open?
Yeah, I would say that's the benefit. That's the benefit of having multiple threats out there and having, the ability as a unit that each one of us can go off at any given moment. So that's tremendous because it keeps the defense honest. And, when the defense is honest, it allows each one of us, to just take advantage of, matchups and, the way the game is going.
Jamarius, when do these bonds grow with teams, and how much are they impacted by tight wins?
Yeah, I would say each game has, definitely played a role into our experience and cohesion. We took a couple early losses that definitely brought us together. And, I would just say our connectivity and our bond started from the summer, but as the season has gone on, it's done nothing but get stronger and stronger.
It's a group of guys that have played a lot of basketball.
Yeah.
I imagine that helps on some levels, right?
Yeah, definitely. I think that helps the most. We have a lot of open dialogue amongst players of how we can get better, whether that's in the game or outside of the game or at halftime or whatever the case may be. It's just a bunch of open dialogue about basketball and how can we win and really take advantage of the mismatches and opportunities out there on the floor.
Joined by Jamarius Burton here on the Jeff Capel Show, and we ask you so much about what goes on the court. You got an honor last year, part of the all-academic team for the ACC. What does that mean to you?
Yeah, it means a lot. Student goes before athlete, and for me, I just try to do my job in the classroom. So it's a tremendous honor. I'll definitely, be hanging that plaque on my wall or giving it to my grandmother. So definitely a tremendous honor.
Is that the first person you told, Grandma?
No, but she definitely, holds things in, the academic realm very seriously. So for me, I just try to take advantage of that. And whenever I get, diplomas or anything like that, I try to send it her way.
JB, when did you know basketball was going to be such a big part of your life?
I would say I knew it was going to be a big part of my life early. My mom played at Alabama A&M. My sisters played collegiate basketball. I grew up in the gym. So for me, the love for the game was developed earlier in my childhood, and I've just been, riding with it since.
All right, be honest. When was the first time you were able to beat one of your sisters?
Probably, I would say, when I got to middle school. Yeah, it took me a while. I had around middle school, around 6th, 7th grade, when I got a little bit taller is when I was able to beat them, because both of my sisters are about 5'10", 5'11".
I imagine they're competitive. If they're playing at that level, they're competitive.
Yeah, they're definitely competitive. So I had to beat them, and it took some years for me to gain the strength and the ability and the knowledge to, be able to take them down.
How often do you talk to them about games that you play in?
I talk to my sisters after every game. I talk to my mom, my dad. It's kind of like a group FaceTime call. They're all in one room because they all go to my mom's house to watch the game. So I'm talking to them after every game for sure.
What do you think it's like in that room when they watch you play?
I would say it's probably very tense. They always text the chat, how they're feeling. Oh, that was a tight game, or oh, that game had me nervous, or whatever like that. But I would just say it's a blessing for sure.
Did they get technical and say, "Hey, man, why didn't you cut back door on this play?"
Well, it's funny. I actually watched film study over the Christmas break with them, and they did exactly that. You need to cut here. You could do this and do that. So I've definitely tried to take some notes and carry that over into this half of the season.
So this game's really been a blessing. It's been a way that you guys can communicate and stay together as a family.
Yeah, definitely. The game of basketball has definitely connected us.
Well, Jamarius, thank you for joining us. Good luck to you. A reminder, 4 o'clock against Clemson. The two teams tied atop the ACC right here, again, at 4 at the Peterson Event Center. As we continue, we're going to get Jeff's take on that win over North Carolina. It's Jeff Capel Show on the Pitt Panthers Radio Network. And welcome back to the Jeff Capel Show. Jamarius, just hang out for a second here, if you don't mind, because I know you got to run. But I just wanted to ask you a little bit more about a couple of your teammates.
Okay.
Blake was telling us, I don't know, I think it was a week or so ago, that in the time that he was waiting to come here and he was out of basketball, that he was at his local LA Fitness and that he would trash talk guys to get them to play tougher against him. And I'm trying to picture it, but it's probably not hard for you to picture, is it?
Right. Yeah, no, that's definitely not hard for me to picture. And the crazy part is, prior to the season here, he would still, after practice, go over to the rec and play pickup with them because he wanted to get in good shape, and he knew that we would need him as a vital piece this year. So, I mean, I knew from then on, like at the beginning of the season, preseason, when he was practicing and then going over to the rec and playing with those guys, that he was committed to the cause and he was doing whatever was necessary, to put himself and us in the best position.
I'm picturing like guys like me, like, okay, we're going to go the pickup game, and then all of a sudden Blake shows up.
Yes. Yeah, and the crazy part is he was taking managers over there with him, and they were playing in these pickup games over there in trees. So, I mean, he's a tremendous guy with a tremendous work ethic.
What's his energy like?
His energy is contagious. I mean, what you see on TV and, the hype, energetic guy after big plays is how he is all the time. He's a tremendous guy, a tremendous worker, and we're just blessed to have him.
Yeah, he is a character. And I think one of the guys that you're starting to learn a little bit more, he's getting a little bit more comfortable, is Greg Elliott.
Yeah, definitely. I would say he's kind of along that same mold with Blake, another energetic guy, another character, who's eager to win. And, he just brings that energy, and we're able to feed off that.
I can't remember if it was Milan or who the coach was, but when he got that double-double, like he was coming over
yes.
like, I told you.
Yes. I mean, that was tremendous. A double-double as a 6'3" guard. I mean, that's tremendous. Again, his energy, him and Blake, is very contagious for us, and I would say they've definitely, been that spark that we needed.
And as people are leaving the Pete, even if you've been here for games, what you'll notice is Greg's shooting. Like, he goes out and shoots after the game.
Yes.
He's that kind of worker.
Yeah, he's definitely a worker. I mean, he's shooting before games, after games, just trying to keep everything intact, keep his shooting stroke right, for us. So, for him, he calls himself the corner store, He says the corner store is always open. He's in the corners, he's ready, he's locked and loaded. So I can only imagine, him shooting after the games, before the games, is just in preparation. So when we throw it to him in those corners, is going in.
The corner store is always open.
Yep.
Nice. I love that. But he's not a guy that's just jacking up 25 shots.
No.
I mean, he takes good shots within the flow of the offense.
Yeah, definitely. And, I mean, the good thing about him is he knows what he can and cannot do. So he's not out there trying to shoot up and jack up a bunch of shots. He's just trying to, do his part to help us win. And for us, that's him knocking down wide open shots, or, coming off stagger screens, or whatever the case may be.
You played against Nelly. last year. Do you remember that matchup? Do you guys?
I do remember that matchup. I think he might have had 17 or 18 points against us. He missed a really clutch shot towards the end that would have kind of helped them. But I remember his competitive edge then, and that's when I knew he'd be a perfect fit over here.
One of the things I love about Nelly is he knows how to use his body to shield off defenders to be able to get that shot. I mean, and there's a real art to that, isn't there?
Yeah, definitely, especially with him being, at that size. He definitely has a gift, a gift of finishing and, shielding defenders off. I can remember a play last game against Virginia. He had a footer on him, and him at his size was able to shield him off and make a big layup for us that was pivotal in our comeback.
All right, Jamarius, we're going to let you go. Thank you for a little overtime here. You're listening to the Jeff Capel Show here on the Pitt Panthers Radio Network. Back here at the Peterson Event Center, and, I was looking around the crowd, and all of a sudden I looked down, I'm like, wait, that guy down by the zoo looks really familiar. And it was Justin Champagnie who joins us now. So you didn't sit in a box. You didn't sit in the press box. You didn't sit right in the front row. You kind of sat with the zoo. Mm-hmm. In your first game experience, what was that like?
Electrifying. I always got to experience the zoo while I was playing. I never got to actually sit back and actually really watch how much energy they bring during the game, so it was a good experience. And me personally, I was going to run on the court, but I was told not to. So
it's probably a good move.
Yeah.
I remember years ago, I went in the zoo with somebody and did a story, and I think it was about the first half, it was like jumping up and down the whole time. It's like, dude, I'm exhausted from.
Yeah, they bring a lot of energy every game, and always love for the zoo. Shout out to the zoo.
What was it like for you to watch Pitt play in person?
Oh man, that was a moment for me. That's my first game back since I left, and just to see those guys go out there and really put on a fight and know what's on the line for that kind of game, and go out there and execute the plan. And it was just a great feeling to watch them win, and I felt like I was out there with them.
What do you like about this group that you were watching?
I feel like they know how to win. They're really together. They know what it takes, and they're just tough. They're not gonna let anything. Like they were down by 13 points throughout the game, and they ain't let that waver their confidence. They stuck with the game plan, and they just went out there and fought, and it was a tougher team at the end of the day.
All right, but for you, having that tie with the program, like, are you watching? Are you like hands ringing, and like, how do you deal with that emotion when you can't do anything about it?
Man, it's tough. I was standing up and down throughout the whole game, just trying to I feel like I'm always out there with them, when I watch them play. So just trying to talk. I was talking to myself most of the game, on things that I would do if I was out there. But man, they had some stuff going, some good passes, some knockdown threes. Nike had a big dunk. I feel like once he had that dunk, game over. They had him right there.
People don't realize. I mean, they think, oh, Nike's just a three-point shooter.
No, he can get up. Yeah, he had a minor setback with his ACL or whatever it was, but he could really jump, that kid. And as you guys can see, he can still do it.
Yeah, he's pretty good. Your couple years here at this university, what did it mean to you?
Everything. I always say this was the best 2 years of my life. I wouldn't change this for anything in the world. I just wish I could have went out on a better note. I wanted to win a little bit more, but the guys now are doing that, and hopefully they keep it going.
What did you love about it? What
did I love?
What made it so great?
Oh, man, where do I start? First, the coaching staff. They brought me in with a lot of love. They didn't really give me anything off, you know what I'm saying? They want me to work. They showed me how to work, and they showed me how to be a professional. So much love for the coaching staff. This university, the people around in the building, and the classrooms, everyone was just love all around the whole university. It was a different feeling coming from New York. I come from a big city. This is a smaller city. A little bit more love surrounding the city. So I just say everything, literally every aspect of the university I loved from day one.
Did you try to soak up the experience as much as you could?
100%. I love my college experience. I thought college was the best 2 years of my life, on and off the court. I felt like on the court, I learned what it was like to, like I said, be a professional and show up every day and try to bring your all in and put your best foot forward. And then off the court, I learned how to, maneuver in a real life situation where you're by yourself, you're not with your family no more. You got to figure things out for yourself and have your own responsibilities.
All right, the easy one would have been the O, but it doesn't exist anymore. Like, when you come back, where do you go? Like, where's that place you got to go eat?
It's a place called Ichiban. It's hibachi. That's my favorite.
That's your thing?
Favorite food ever down here.
Really?
Promise you. Favorite food. Ichiban.
I wasn't expecting that.
Ichiban. And they got the chicken over rice place down the block. That place is good too. But those 2 places for sure.
All right, I want to ask you a little bit about your relationship with Jeff. Justin Champagnie is joining us here. It's the Jeff Capel Show on the Pitt Panthers Radio Network. We're here at the Peterson Event Center and joined by former Panther Justin Champagnie, who you might be here. I know 4 o'clock on. It's a battle for first place in the ACC between the Tigers and Panthers.
Yes, sir.
It's going to be the atmosphere is going to be cool, and this building does rock. You've been in situations like that.
I know.
What do you remember about first meeting Jeff?
First meeting Cape, I would say on my visit, we had a meeting with me, my brother, my mom, my pops in his office, and he put on a TV board and he showed us the university, what the program's about, and basically what the whole city was about. And then he had said something to me that really stuck with me from that day. He was like, "There's minutes on the table, but I can't guarantee you anything." So for me, it was just a sense of like, you got to come in, you got to work hard, nothing can be given to you, and that's been my whole life. So like to me, it kind of like reminded me of how I grew up and how I came up. So from right there, I knew like this is. I asked my mom, this is the school for me. I said I want to commit right there. She told me to wait a day and give it, give it some thought. But I would say that day was the day where I knew like Kate was probably one of the most realest people I had in my life.
So it was important to you that he was real. It wasn't just like, I promise you this, or because you probably hear that.
Yeah, you see it all the time. Other coaches, they'd be like, "Oh, we got minutes for you, we got this," and then it's not what they say. So I just appreciate him for being real all the time. Just a real person telling me the truth, however it may be, whether I want to hear it or not. He always tells me.
All right, so you're coming in from Brooklyn.
Mm-hmm.
They play some serious ball in Brooklyn.
Mm-hmm.
What do you remember about your first practice as a college player?
I was winded. I was tired. Coming from high school into college is not an easy transition. Guys are bigger, stronger, faster, and more athletic and all that kind of stuff. So I was really winded. But I would just say it was just like intense. Like, we didn't just go in there and lollygag. Like, we went in there and we tried to get some work done. And I feel like those were the stepping stones that kind of got me to realize every time I step in the gym, whether it be for 10 minutes, 30, 2 hours, I got to be productive. I got to get better at something each and every day.
Who is the assistant that you really bonded with?
Oh, JC. No, JC and T.O. T.O. is crazy. Let's get that out there now. T.O. is nuts. But I would say JC and T.O., they really took me in, and they really JC worked more with me.
Jason Capel.
Yeah. JC worked more with me on the court stuff, and T.O. worked a lot with me off the court, where I get my mental right and my schoolwork and just being a dog on and off the court to get every aspect of life done.
And T.O. is not Terrell Owens, but someone that's maybe more intense than Terrell Owens. It's Tim O'Toole.
Tim O'Toole.
Like, how would you describe his energy?
Contagious, I would say. I mean, T.O., from 5:30 in the morning when he wakes up, he has the most energy I've ever seen. It's great, though. As a young kid coming into school, you need that. You need someone to be there like, yo, like, we're going to get work done. We're going to get this done. We want to get you to the next level. We want you to be the best version of yourself. So I say it's critical for college kids to have a coach like that really pushes them.
Is it going too far to say that Jeff and Jason and Milan and Tim are more than coaches
to me? Yeah. 100%. They're family to me. That's why I'm always back here. Like, they always tell me, like, whenever I want to come back and work out or just come back and hang out, I'm always welcome. This is a family thing. Goes way past basketball for me. Do
you have those types of conversations? Like, you have deep
of
conversations?
Course. Anytime I go to something, I could reach out to Cape. I could reach out to JC. T.O. is always calling me. He's always calling my phone, whether it be for the littlest thing, real things. Like, he sends me books, make sure that I'm keeping my mental going and keeping, like, growing and learning as a student of life and the game. So it's just way past basketball for me from day one. I feel like this was family. That's why I chose to come in. That's why I'm always back here.
I know you have some options that you're talking about right now for the next step for you, correct?
Yes, sir.
How does that process work? You just kind of like, hey, where's the best place for me?
I would just say just best fit. Best fit and what team really wants you the most. For me, it's just I just want an opportunity. That's all I ever wanted in my life is an opportunity, and I know what I do, what I bring to the table after that. So, just best fit and where I can get an opportunity for real.
All right. Thanks for taking time with us, Justin.
Yes, sir.
I'm glad you enjoyed the game.
Of course.
And it's good to see you back.
It's good to see you guys. Love Pitt, H2P.
4 o'clock Saturday right here on the Pitt Panthers Radio Network. As we continue, Jeff's going to rejoin us, and we're going to discuss, there's something that happened with a technical foul before a game yesterday, and it happened to a former ACC coach. We're going to see if that ever happened to Jeff as we continue. It's the Jeff Capel Show on the Pitt Panthers Radio Network. All right, welcome back to the Peterson Event Center, the site of Saturday's 4 o'clock tip against Clemson. Both the Panthers and Tigers are 4-0 to start the season. We'll talk a little bit about the Tigers. But I wanted to talk about the story that I teased before we started. Buzz Williams, who is, I don't know, a bit fiery. I think
It's an understatement.
it's safe to say. He might go through more clothes than a team does in a week. He's coaching Texas A&M right now, and he has his team in Florida getting ready for a game. And they are in warm-up uniforms, or their warm-ups, which aren't their uniforms. And they go back into the locker room the final time before they're going to come out and start the game. And they realize they left their uniforms back at the hotel. Has that ever happened to any team you've been on?
That's never happened. I've never heard of it. It's never happened. I mean, I think maybe one year when I was at VCU, I think that maybe we left we played like maybe at Hofstra or George Mason. It was somewhere that was, north of where we were in Richmond. And I think when we got there, the managers realized they forgot to pack the uniforms. Oh. But we were able to get them before the game. I mean, it was like the day before, but we were able to get them. But it's never happened. I mean, I think maybe, for a while, we get dressed at the hotel. Like, our guys put uniforms on at the hotel. We get taped and do all of that stuff.
Is that to
there.
make sure?
I don't know if it's to make sure, but it's just
it works.
Something that we've done, yeah.
I want to point this out. This is a quote from Buzz. He says, "I forgot the jerseys in my hotel room." That's probably the right way to say it, because I used to be a manager. If that would have happened, my head coach would have stuck up for me. You don't want the jerseys to get wrinkled, so he says they hang them in the room so they don't get wrinkled. And he says, "I forgot it. It's on me, and it won't happen again." I admire the way that he handled it.
Well, that's typical Buzz. I mean, he's a really good leader, really good guy, really good coach, and probably especially with him, he probably felt empathy for those guys because he was a former manager himself. He knows how difficult, how tough that job is, but how important that job is. And it was an honest mistake. I'm pretty sure those kids, those young people, did not do it intentionally. They have so much other stuff going on. It was just something that they just forgot about in the midst of doing so much. Managers are so important for your program. Our managers here, I always say, they're part of our team. They are equally as important as anyone, because if they don't do their job at a high level, we can't do our job. We can't function without them. And I try to help them in any way that I can. They are part of our team. I tell our guys before the season starts every year, you get to know them, you build a relationship. They are not here to serve you. They're here to help us. And they're not picking up after you. Like, they're part of our team. They're part of our program. And I'm pretty sure that's why Buzz did that.
Yeah, I don't know if we would have enough time to describe, even on a game day, all that they're in charge of. But, I had the chance filling in for Bill a couple of times to travel with you guys. They're the first off the bus, last on, every time. And they got everything.
They take care of everything. I mean, from the food, ordering the food, from making sure everything is straight in the hotel, being there for our guys, extra gear, just whatever it is, they do it. It can be thankless at times. I hope they feel appreciated by all of us in our program, but they do it for the love and for being a part of something, their desire to be a part of something and be around it. And when you watch our games, one of the cool things for me when I go back and watch tape is I get to see our managers, see how passionate they are, how hyped they get for the guys' success. And I think they do that because they are part of it. It's their team. They have ownership of it as well.
And I think it's cool on senior night when you get some of the players get so excited when they get to introduce their families.
Absolutely, because they are the unseen and unsung heroes. And they do an unbelievable job for us.
Yeah, they do an incredible job.
Yep.
Some great news today from Cincinnati. Former Pitt Panther Damar Hamlin is making, quote, remarkable recovery. He's communicating with doctors, and one of the first questions he asked was, "Did we win the game?"
Not surprised, man. That's a typical athlete or coach, someone that's in it. That's a typical response, and so grateful. I really believe it's the power of prayer. It's having an incredible, staff around, whether it's the the trainers for Buffalo that took action right away, that probably saved his life. And then being a part of a, great medical community right there at the University of Cincinnati Medical Center, and the unbelievable job that they've done, the support of his family, friends, but just the power of prayer, man, can do amazing things. And great to hear that news today.
I love the doctor's response was, yes, DeMar, you won the game of life.
No question. Because this, what we do, I'm not saying it's not important, because it is. It's important to us.
Sure.
It can bring joy to people. It can be entertainment. But there's nothing more important than your own life, your own mental health, your family, and things like that. And at times, people can take this game. What we do is a game, and we love it. There's passion for it, but it's not the most important thing. And sometimes it takes something tragic, something horrific, to kind of remind you of that. And one of the coolest things for me has just been able to see, look, we have a lot of screwed up things right now in this country and in this world. But it's unfortunate that it takes this, but you have this tragedy, this really tragic event. No one's caring about, what party you're with or what color jersey you have. Everyone, you see the true humanity that I think is the greatest thing about this country. Unfortunately, it takes sometimes tragic events, for you to see that.
Yeah, and it's awesome that he's doing well. And, you mentioned it after the win against Virginia. And, you've a couple of times also mentioned some of the successes of the other programs here at the university. Why is that important for you?
Well, it's huge. It's interesting. After we beat, when we beat North Carolina and our football team won the bowl game that afternoon, I text, Pat Narduzzi. I text Coach Narduzzi, but I also text Heather, and I was like, "What a day!" And she said, "Well, you guys got it started with your win today." And I told her, I was like, "No, volleyball and soccer got it started." With the success that they had earlier in, this season, and the unbelievable seasons that they've had, but especially this year with the run they had. And it just kind of becomes contagious. You see it, you want to experience it yourself. You want to be a part of it. I think this community, this athletic department, I think there's genuine love for each other, and you want to see each other be successful. Us in the arena, the coaches, the student athlete, we know how hard it is. It's hard to win. It really is hard to win. Sometimes when you make it look easy, you can kind of take it for granted. But we know the hours that each other put in as coaches, as student athletes. You want to be there, you support, and so we're grateful, to be a part of this athletic department and this community.
I've heard it described where, hey, go enjoy the other sports. Like, enjoy these other. Do you tell that to your guys? Like,
absolutely,
hey.
Absolutely. Like you want to. I learned this late in my career as a student athlete. When I was in college, I was so locked in on my sport and trying to be the best that I could be. But I learned it late, man, just to be a part of the university community. And, that's also being a part of other sports, but also just being a part of the university community. Like, you're a student. You are an athlete, but you're a student, and so get the whole experience. That's why it was cool to hear Justin talk about that and how much he loved it, even though he was here for only 2 years. Every chance he gets, he tries to come back so he can experience it even more.
All right, found out we have to take one other quick break.
Cool.
So we'll do that right now on the Jeff Capel Show on the Pitt Panthers Radio Network. All right, Jeff, a battle for first. What are we going to see out of Clemson?
They're very good. They've been the best defensive team in the league. They've shot the ball well. They can really shoot it. They average 9 made threes. They're physical. They're very tough. They're old. And they're really good and playing with incredible confidence right now.
Brad Brownell, you're always going to expect defense when you see him.
Absolutely. They're very physical. I mean, very, very physical. If you thought Virginia was physical, this is at a different level.
All right, you have an opportunity to come see it. 4 o'clock right here at the Peterson Event Center. Our thanks to Jamarius Burton, to Justin Champagny, to Matt Pliska, Amanda King, and also to Joel Riley. We'll see you next week. It is the Jeff Capel Show on the Pitt Panthers Radio Network.